Hello everyone, and welcome to this week in which we will approach African history through a female lens. We will talk about women in art, in music, in culture, in politics and literature to celebrate International Women's Day on the 8th of March. The Sankofa bird will every day on this week embark on a new journey to introduce us to some women heroes of African history. So today on the 4th of March, we are starting our journey in Johannesburg in South Africa. This day in 1932, Zenzile Miriam was born. She was a great jazz singer, certainly not an ethno-jazz singer like some would say, a prominent political militant and a pioneer in many ways. Some of you might have recognized Miriam Makeba, also known as Mama Africa.
African History Daily by my daddy.
Her first name, Zenzile, means you can only blame your own self. Her father was a teacher and her mom a house helper. When Zenzi was only a few days old, her mother and her got imprisoned for 6 months after brewing beer for a little extra income for the family. Her father died when she was only 6 years old, and it didn't get any better after this difficult start in life. In 1948, African nationalists won the elections in South Africa. Apartheid began. Then Zenzi was 17 and has just given birth to her daughter Bongi. She was diagnosed with breast cancer and her husband left her shortly after that. They divorced in 1952. So at 20 years old, Zenzile Makeba is barely surviving with small jobs as nanny, washing cabs. She lives alone with her mother and daughter. It's during this time that, almost by accident, she started singing. First with a band called Cuban Brothers, and in 1952, she became a chorus girl for the Manhattan Brothers under her stage name Miriam. She became more and more successful. At the peak of her musical success in 1956, she toured the whole world with her hit Pata Pata. But Zenzile Makeba was much more than a successful singer. She became a strong symbol of the anti-apartheid struggle. She even appeared in the movie Come Back Africa by American director Lionel Rogosin. As a consequence, the apartheid regime withdrew her South African citizenship, and in 1959 she is forced into exile. Little did she know it was going to last for 31 long years. When her mother died in 1960, she could not attend the funeral. Here are some important moments of the rest of her life. In 1966, Makeba is the first South African to win a Grammy Award for her collaboration with Harry Belafonte. In 1985, she was awarded French honorary citizenship and the title of Commandeur des Arts et Lettres. It's actually with a French passport that she would return to South Africa on the request of Nelson Mandela shortly after his liberation from jail. In 1992, she played Angelina's mother in the movie Sarafina that was telling the story of the 1976 Soweto riots. In 2005, she announced the end of her career to accolades around the world. She died on the 9th November 2008, age 76 years old. She had just attended a solidarity concert in Italy in support of Roberto Saviano, the author of the movie titled Gomorrah, who was hunted by the mafia. The International Prize Miriam Makeba was then created in her memory, which awards artistic creativity in the African continent. But I guess to capture her legacy, there could have been at least 2 other prizes in her name, one for tolerance and the second one for the courage of her opinions. Today, my African cliché is a dream. The dream that Mama Africa dreamed. She always envisioned a united Africa, urging, I'm quoting, her black brothers to forgiveness. We have to grow. Blacks and whites need to get to know each other and learn to live together. What would she have thought of the 2018 xenophobic march of the black South Africans that claimed there were too many immigrants? What would she think of the white South Africans who are building cities for only white people, away from the rest of the black population? These are some questions you can mull over today. Up to you to think about them, to your own African clichés, to our African continent, and I hope to see you tomorrow on the next flight of the Sankofa bird. Thank you.
If you like this podcast, don't forget to subscribe and post a comment on Apple Store or your usual podcast platform.